Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a really intricate story, one that weaves together high fantasy, some pretty intense family drama, and frankly, ruthless political strategy.
Yeah, it's a fascinating mix. We're focusing on Celia. She's this new sorceress, right?
Mhm.
And she's caught between her father, who's a total Machiavellian figure, her brother, who's kind of this fallen hero type, and this huge, ancient, magical war.
Absolutely. And our sources, they really map out this whole complex web Celia's political inheritance, which is brutal. Um, Her own emotional, almost catastrophic outburst that triggers everything.
And the end game. The really cynical strategy that somehow, against all odds, ends this century-long conflict.
Right.
So our mission today is to unpack all the motivations, the magic system of the Summerlands, which is, not your typical setup,
Right.
and the political maneuvering that leads to this surprising peace.
Okay, let's set the scene first. Geography, economics. The kingdom is prosper and its wealth, its power, it all comes from bordering this magical place, the Summerlands. What's the deal there?
It's all about agriculture, fundamentally. That border with the Summerlands, it basically supercharges their environment. They get these incredibly long summers, like almost 5 months long.
Wow, 5 months.
Yeah, much longer than anyone else. So year after year, they get extra harvests, more crops, more wine, silk, sugar, the high-value stuff.
That's a massive economic edge, like unbeatable.
Exactly. It makes them incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
But there's a big price tag. This constant conflict, the Summer War, it's been going on for 100 years.
A century. And it wasn't about land or resources, was it? What kicked it all off?
No, it was personal, deeply personal. It started with Princess Aisling from the Summerlands. She married King Sheridan of Prosper. He's the son of the famous witch queen Selena. So there's magic in his line, too.
Okay.
But at their wedding feast, Sheridan, well, he humiliated her. Publicly chose some mortal singer over his, magically powerful princess wife. For Aisling, that was devastating. Her whole future, her political role, just shattered. She threw herself from the castle tower. Despair. And her brother, Summer Prince Elithion, he saw this profound insult, this betrayal, and swore eternal vengeance, not just on Sheridan, but on his entire line.
An oath of vengeance driving 100 years of war. Rough. And nobody could break it until Celia's father, Grand Duke Varys, steps in. Varys the Fox, they call him. Started as a poor knight, ends the war. How?
Varys is key because he completely throws out the rule book on honorable warfare. Generations of knights failed trying to fight the Summerlings with, glory and charges. Varys just looked at it differently. He saw it as, applied cynicism.
He wasn't highborn, right?
Yeah.
He took command when others wouldn't.
Exactly. The nobles didn't want the job. Varys took it and used tricks, not honor. He treated it like an engineering problem almost.
Okay, give us an example. His tactics are infamous, apparently.
Oh, yeah. The sources detail this early victory. He ambushes these glorious summer knights, but not with a countercharge. His men hide, throw muck, manure, anything to just humiliate them, break their formation.
Muck. Seriously.
Seriously. Then leads them right into a pre-dug pit trap. And here's the Fox's part. He has common peasants positioned safely above, just butcher the trapped knights.
That's incredibly brutal.
And calculated.
Totally calculated. He's showing that their high-flown honor is useless against practical, dirty tactics. He even uses the class divide. The Summerlings wouldn't value peasant lives, so they weren't expecting that kind of attack from them.
Okay, that's one. What else? There were others, right?
Oh, yeah. Another classic Varys move. He lures about 400 summer knights into a fort they thought they'd captured. But he had already rigged it. Courtyards soaked in oil and tar.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he just lit it up, burned them all, lost barely any of his own men. It's horrifying strategy, but militarily incredibly effective. He minimizes his own losses, maximizes theirs.
Maximum effect, minimum scruples. And the third big one, fort resignation.
All right, fort resignation. This one's maybe the most Fox-like. He invites like 10 different summer lords there, all at the same time. Tells each one privately they're the only one worthy enough to challenge him.
But oops, sorry, he's already promised the next duel to the other guy. So these hyper-honorable, proud summer lords, they spend weeks fighting each other ferociously for the privilege of getting to kill Varys.
Well, he just watches.
Watches and prepares. While they're busy killing each other, he's setting up more traps in the fort, quicksand in the courtyard, walls rigged to collapse. Even village kids with slingshots waiting to pick off survivors in a storm. Just total exploitation of their own code against them.
It's diabolical genius in a way, but was it just about winning battles? Or was there a bigger plan?
Always a bigger plan with Varys. He didn't actually want the crown himself too dangerous, too visible. The source calls his life's work a steady two-decade conquest of the throne by a penniless boy from the back of nowhere.
So not a direct takeover.
No, much smarter. Or, more insidious. A slow coup through marriage, marry his kids up generation by generation until his grandchild marries the heir to the throne, tie his bloodline directly to the crown, control without the title. That was the goal.
Generational power play. Okay, but even the best plans can fall apart. Let's shift to segment 2. Because the linchpin of his plan, his son, Argent, he doesn't quite follow the script, does he?
Not at all. Argent was supposed to be perfect. The heir, handsome, best knight, trained by Varys himself. But Argent was carrying this deep, hidden trauma.
From when he was younger.
Yeah, when he was 12. He saw his father publicly judge these two men. The punishment was brutal caning, stripping their names, exile. The crime wasn't even specified, but Argent, he got the message.
What message?
Father was showing him, non-verbally, this is what's wrong with you. Argent internalized it. He genuinely believed he shared whatever wrongness those men had. He was terrified he'd be next.
That's heavy for a kid, and it led to...
He tried to kill himself, eat nightshade, out of fear and shame. That deep wound never really healed.
So when he's older, he rejects the whole thing.
Yeah. Completely. Comes back from some games, gives back the family sword, renounces his father's name, says it's to spare Varys the shame of having him as a son, and chooses exile. He leaves with a new sword, actually. The woven blade.
Silver, gold, and steel, right.
Yeah.
Given to him by...
Prince Lithian, his family's sworn enemy. The irony is huge. Argent rejects power, rejects the sword of his father, and basically goes on a quest to find love. That becomes his new purpose.
Wow, okay. And Celia, his sister, how does she take his departure?
She's devastated. She adored him. His coldness, his rejection, it just breaks something in her. And that fury, that pain, it leads to this pivotal moment.
The curse.
The curse. In her rage and despair, she lashes out with this ill wish. I hope you meet 100 beautiful Summerling boys and none of them love you.
Yeah.
She condemns him to glory, but hollow glory, loveless glory.
And this intense emotional outburst
does something else, right? It triggers the weird, her latent sorcery. It's inherited, from which Queen Celena's line. But the trigger isn't study or practice. It's this raw, wrenching emotional trauma. It coincides with her first period, too, a convergence of biological and emotional catalysts.
So the magic is tied to intense emotion, not control.
Exactly. And it manifests instantly, dramatically. Guards rush to help her, and their swords just turn to glass, shatter on the spot. It's raw, untamed power reflecting her inner state.
The sorceress is born from a curse, okay? And this changes her relationship with her other brother, Roric.
Yeah, Roric. The middle kid, common-born mother, always overlooked. Celia kind of saw him as sour, maybe a bit weak. But after Argent leaves, Roric sees his opening.
Oh, so?
He confronts her, really bluntly.
Yeah.
Points out that Argent never actually cared about them, only his own angst. Then he makes her an offer. A deal.
What kind of deal?
Pragmatism 101. He says, care about me and I'll care about you. Basically, let's form an alliance based on mutual benefit and honesty, not hero worship.
And Celia agrees.
She does. She sees the sense in it. It's a practical bond built on clear-eyed reality, replacing the toxic idealization she had for Argent. And honestly, this partnership with Roric is what ultimately saves them.
Okay, this leads us into segment 3. Varys, the master strategist, is reeling from Argent's departure, and he missteps with Celia, doesn't he?
He does. Big time. His focus is fractured. He tries to fall back on his old playbook, marry Celia off strategically. His pick. The widowed Grand Duke Prain. Old guy, bad knees.
Seriously, a sorceress, and he wants to marry her to him.
Shows how distracted Varys was. He wasn't thinking about the weird. But Celia, now more strategic herself, thanks to Roric, points out the obvious. Dad, the king's gonna want the sorceress for the crown prince, Gorthan.
And she's right. The king demands her. Quickly.
Immediately. First asks when she's just 12, then formally summons her at 15 for his swift marriage at the Greenbridge border crossing. And it's not about heirs. Gorthan's almost 30. It's a power grab.
He wants control of the sorcery. Yeah. Before Varys can use her as a political weapon, there was a prophecy too, right, about a fox.
Exactly. A seer warned the king that a fox, clearly Varys would somehow snatch the line of sorcery away from the royal family. So the king's moving preemptively to secure Celia.
And Varys only realizes something's really wrong when they get to the Green Bridge.
Yeah, it finally clicks. He sees the market there is run down, neglected. The Summerlings aren't truly participating in the supposed peace. He admits it out loud. The century-long peace must be a lie. Ilithian would never really forgive the betrayal.
So what were the real terms? This is a major reveal in the source material.
It's a shocker. The actual peace agreement, made by the previous King Mortimer years ago, involved a secret clause. The next sorceress born into Sheridan's line, the line of the king who betrayed Aisling, was to be surrendered to Prince Ilithian for marriage.
Oh my God. So history repeating itself, deferred vengeance.
Precisely. Ilithian's long game. He wanted the current king sorcerer's heir to suffer exactly what his sister Aisling did. Humiliation, despair, leading to suicide. King Mortimer agreed to sacrifice a future generation to save his own skin back then.
That's cold. So Varys is falling apart, realizing his whole life strategy might be worthless.
While Roric and Celia step up, they keep the estates running, maintain appearances, protect the family reputation, and Roric makes a bold move.
The disguise.
The disguise. He volunteers to go to the Green Bridge ahead of them, secretly. Dresses as a simple song spinner, red cap, carries his mother's lute. He becomes their eyes and ears on the ground, unseen.
Smart. Meanwhile, Celia goes to meet Gorthan at the border.
Right. Gorthan arrives. Heavy royal guard. He escorts her into this sacred grove. And inside, Celia gets these flashes, these intense memories. Her mother, Argent. It's like the place itself holds echoes of her family's magic and history.
A moment of connection before the betrayal.
Exactly. Because then Gorthan drops the bomb, cites the prophecy, says he has to protect his throne from the fox Varys, and hands Celia over to Prince Ilithian. Trades his own cousin to secure his dynasty.
Wow. Okay, endgame time. Segment 4. Celia is handed over. Argent is out there somewhere. Roric is in disguise. What happens next?
Ilithian doesn't waste a second. His vengeance is precise, methodical. He forces Celia to wear this ring made of, like, cold, dark metal. It binds her words, suppresses her magic completely, makes her powerless.
And his stated goal.
He tells her explicitly, his oath is to inflict nothing more than was done to my own sister, which means public humiliation, isolation, despair, until she follows Aisling's path and kills herself. He locks her in a high tower window overlooking the court so everyone can watch her fade.
Grim. But then Argent arrives.
Argent arrives in style as the Knight of the Woven Blade. He's brought there by Alamathaza, this legendary blue-eyed Shahul, sort of a giant sandworm creature apparently paying off a life debt to him.
And what's his plan? He can't find love because of the curse.
So he redefines his quest. He can't live for love, so he'll die for it. He challenges the entire summer court, one night at a time. His goal is to fight his way through all of them, reach Celia, and die in a blaze of glory, a worthy death defending his sister. It's his way around the curse's terms.
A death wish wrapped in honor. He starts fighting, day after day.
While Celia watches from the tower, trapped in this horrible dilemma. If she kills herself to save Argent, he lives, but shamed and broken. If he dies fighting for her, he finds his love in death. But the war, the vengeance, it all continues.
Seems like a total impasse.
It is. Until Roric the song spinner. He's been in the court observing, unnoticed. Then someone recognizes him from before, asks him to sing.
And this is his moment.
His moment. But he's clever. He doesn't start with anything controversial. He sings his silly account stories, little ditties using numbers and figures from household ledgers. Mundane stuff.
I do that.
Disarms them completely. The court thinks, oh, it's just a ledger singer. They relax. They're not expecting anything serious. It's brilliant social camouflage.
Oh, so he lulls them.
And then on the second night, he changes tune. Literally. He sings a new song called The Summer War, but he uses the melody of a well-known, slightly comical tune, The Foolish Miser.
Okay, and the lyrics?
Devastating. The song lays bare Ilithian's century-long mistake. It points out he's been punishing the wrong people, ordinary folks and prosper, even Argent, who rejected the corrupt king's line instead of targeting the actual heirs of the betrayer king.
Wow, delivering a political truth bomb wrapped in a folk song.
Exactly. And it hits Ilithian hard. He's heartbroken, realizing the futility, the misdirection of his entire life's vengeance, and in that moment of raw emotion, he swears a public oath. He will harm no kin of the brave song spinner who showed him the truth.
And Roric
Springs the trap. Instantly reveals who he is, Roric, son of Varys the Fox. And that Celia, the prisoner, and Argent, the knight fighting his court, are his siblings, his kin.
Oh, brilliant. He's trapped Ilithian.
Perfectly. Ilithian now has conflicting oaths. He's sworn vengeance, technically, but he's also just sworn publicly not to harm Roric or his kin. He can't break either oath without losing his honor, the very thing driving him. Roric has checkmated him with words.
So what can Ilithian do?
He chooses the only path left that preserves some semblance of honor while punishing himself. He arms himself to be the last challenger against Argent. but he essentially plans to let Argent win. Maybe he doesn't defend himself fully, offers Argent the honor of killing him.
So Argent gets his glorious death. Elythian finds a way out.
But Argent hesitates. He looks at Elythian, maybe sees the man who gave him the woven blade, the man he might have connected with. He realizes killing him means the curse still wins, because he'd be killing the potential for love, ensuring he dies loveless.
It's still a tragic outcome, so Celia.
Celia sees it all. Sees the trap Argent is in, the trap Elythian is in. She realizes she has to break the cycle, subvert the whole narrative of vengeance. She calls the Shahul Ilmathisa.
The creature that brought Argent.
Yes, she steps onto its back, right there at the tower window, and essentially jumps. But the Shahul catches her, lowers her safely to the ground.
So she leaves the tower.
The same way Aisling did, as she declares. A leap from the tower. But she survives. She fulfills the method of Elysian's demanded vengeance, but completely negates the outcome of despair and death. It shatters the premise of his oath.
That frees them both, Argent and Elythian.
It breaks the immediate deadlock. And right then, who shows up but Father? Virus the Fox. He's watched Roric's brilliant maneuver, Celia's decisive action. He steps in to broker the final political deal.
What's the deal?
Simple, elegant, and advantageous to his line. Celia, having proven her strength, her her leadership, she should be queen. And Argent. To seal the peace, bind the realms. Give Argent to Elythian.
But if Argent, as a political offering, or...
More than that, Celia accepts the throne, starts using her warden right away to rebuild the Greenbridge Palace, symbolizing the new era. And Argent is formally given to Elythian, and the source says they kiss. And the vines around them just bloom like crazy.
Its curse breaks.
The curse breaks. Argent finds his love not in glorious death, but with the Summer Prince himself. Peace is achieved.
Wow. So, at the end of the day, this massive conflict wasn't ended by armies or magic duels.
But by Roric's clever word trap, Celia's defiant act of survival, and Argent finding love in the most unexpected place. It was strategy, emotional intelligence, and ultimately choosing connection over vengeance.
It really underscores how personal trauma, Argent's fear, Celia's fury can unleash these huge forces, the weird, the curse. But it takes clear thinking, loyalty like Roric and Celia's bond, to actually steer those forces towards something constructive, even if it's a messy piece.
Absolutely. It wasn't a clean victory in the traditional sense, but it was a lasting one because it addressed the underlying emotional wounds and political realities.
So, connecting this to the bigger picture, the story really pushes this idea that the hardest, maybe bravest choice is to stop the cycle of vengeance, to choose writing a new story instead of just repeating the old, tragic ones. Argent chose love over glory. Celia chose peace over retribution.
Which leaves us, and you, with a final thought to chew on. Think about the established narratives in your own life. Personal, professional, maybe even political ones you follow. What cycles are you participating in? And what might be the cost or the reward of choosing to write a different future instead of just replaying the past?